there, folks, and welcome to the stream. My name is Mike D'Angelo, aka That Tellest Guy. We're trying this again just to see if everything is working the way that we expect it to. Misery, if you can, in the chat, just let me know. Give me a thumbs up whether or not that's working. For whatever reason, technical difficulties all over the place this evening. Awesome. So I did a lot of talking before I realized that I was talking to nobody. So I want to real quick just make sure that everybody hears everything that I went over before. Right up until I went live with everything tonight, I was working on the newsletter. So every Thursday for Tellest, I do a newsletter, and it usually goes over a lot of our weekly content and whatever we have that's nearing completion for the cool stuff that we're working on. So in a lot of those cases, it's something like a new book on the way or things like that. But last week, I had no time to wrap up a lot of these maps, and this week a big focus of the weekly content is Matt and I ended up wrapping up 4 maps this week, possibly 5 if I'm able to get the one that we're going to play with tonight wrapped up for Saturday. And it's looking more and more like we're going to be able to pull that off. And then maybe we'll be even luckier. We'll be able to do that Witch's Hut one that I want to do. But in any case, I wanted to bring us to this screen, which is different than usually what we start with. We usually just go right into Inkarnate and do that kind of thing. I wanted to bring it over here because I thought it was important for people to realize that there's another place for you to see all the new map content that might come out on Patreon, if that's something that you're interested in. And that's just to sign up for the Tellest newsletter. It's absolutely free, and you get some goodies out of it, which is, it's a win-win-win at that point. So there's 2 places that you can sign up. If you go to the Tellest website, you can just click on this free Tellest starter library. It'll get you these 3 books for free. Or if you want to do another quick way, you can scroll down past all the sidebar ads, and you can go to here where it says newsletter. Does the same thing, gets you to the same place. It's just this gives you a few seconds to get there a bit quicker because you're putting your information in here instead of on the next screen. But just wanted to show you that. We are going to get into the other maps, but I wanted to real quick pivot back to the maps that we finished, because it's not fair that we get so close to finishing these things and then you don't see them. So we're going to take a moment to celebrate those pretty cool things, and we'll just show them off a little bit. So first, we're going to actually show one of Matt's. So Matt gave me, like I said, 4 maps before he left for his travel nurse position. He'll be back in like 3 or 4 days, but he got me a lot of good content, and I think we scheduled 2 of them on the Patreon already, and we'll have 2 more coming over the next week. So a lot of stuff moving, a lot of moving parts, a lot of cool stuff. And then we're going to head over to here, and I feel like I can't do this kind of thing with Matt's maps, but at least for mine. So we did manage to finish the other 2 maps that we were working on last week, which was the Siphenadil Dam, which you can see here. And then we also looked briefly at the obelisk map that we were starting. I think it might have even been yesterday. Time flies so much that I can't even really pay it. It wasn't yesterday. It was last week. My timelines are all messed up. But in any of the cases, we've got 2 variants for each of those. You saw a couple of the ones from the Siphenadil Dam map, but we also have a couple for the obelisk, and Matt made sure that each one of the maps that he gave me, we had some, like a variant each for those as well. So a lot of good stuff moving around. And then we're just going to, I really wanted to just use that map completed splash just to throw that out into the world. We're going to step back into the Everdark. We're going to use this map again and see what else we can flesh out, what we can experiment with, that kind of thing. I'm not feeling so worn out today. My voice is, at least for now, working. So we're going to see if we can't work some magic, and we'll just go from there. So we'll start off. We're going to fill in some of this gray area over here because I'm sick and tired of looking at just the blackness. So we might fill it up with blackness again later, but at least for now, we're going to assume that we've got some stuff over here. We're going to throw a lot more of that corruption in place. And over here, I'm not sure where we're going with things yet, but I do think that what we're going to do is we'll use these stamps over here. And I'm going to actually fold this one in. And we're going to not use that one because I don't like those ones. They don't speak to me. I'll make sure that I don't think that I had that one the right direction. So let me spin that back around. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to try and kind of fold this area in such a way that as we're working on this, this is going to be another one of these little areas here, and we're going to make it so that maybe there's some rooms over here that we can use, so it's not just this open area, you know, with whatever. It works almost as like a mini dungeon as well. So we're going to keep on tweaking some of this stuff. I feel like that one might be a little too big for down there anyway. Something like that, I feel like does the trick. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're still gonna use this. I'm not even like really doing anything precise or anything yet. But we're gonna build that into there, and then we're gonna do the opposite way that we did things with the tiles over here. Now, it's gonna be a little bit challenging here because we don't have this grid at an angle or anything like that. Now you can do on the grid tool, you can do like an isometric grid and stuff like that, but it doesn't quite accomplish the same kind of thing that we're doing here. And when you're doing the tile tool, you'll notice that I can't really do much by way of like rotating this. You know, like it doesn't really give me that option or anything. You can change fills, you can change, you know, whether or not you're going to make it, you know, polygonal, but it doesn't really let you do, I mean, that's a very specific shape and it's not doing what I need it to. So we're going to, actually, I lied. Don't mind me, I'm stupid. All right. That is perfect, because what I'm trying to do here is make something like that where we're connecting rooms in ways that feel a little bit less, I don't want it to just be straight up and down. I want it to have a little bit of shape to it. So what we'll do is we'll do a 4x5 here. We're going to rotate this so that's about the same angle that the passageway is going to open up into. And it actually moves a lot nicer too. So what we'll do is here, if we apply, we've got that. Now the thing is, you'll notice that getting back is not going to be as easy as I'd like it to be. And we've got that snap to grid that's causing me a little bit of agita. What we're going to actually do is change to the blue tile style. Now that's the other problem, is that's not on a rotation. So let's try and see. We can do the rotation here. Let's do, well, I'll tell you what, we actually would be able to probably pretty easily tell when we're coming in here. Here we need to do a snap. I'm going to do the 405, or I'm sorry, the 4x5, and it looks to be about 19 degrees. So here's where the snap gets annoying. But you can actually just hold the shift key down to mess with that. So the rotation would have been 19. Let's see if doubling it gets it to where we need to. It doesn't. What about if we go negative with it? No. So if we go 360 and then do 19 away from that, at that point we're at 341. And now that is pretty much equal to what we would expect from there. Now, again, a little bit of a problem here because there's some weird overlap that we'll see there. And I want to try and see if we can offset that a smidge. So one more time, we're going to apply. And now let's see what we're working with. Pretty darn close. We're going to end up kind of cleaning things up a little bit differently here to make it look a little bit more like it's framed by, you know, like cavernous material and stuff like that. So let's come out here. We're going to throw that there. Actually, throw this one over here. So I'm going to use the, you know what, I think I did that backwards. I have a habit of doing that lately. What we're going to do is use the shape that we have here is kind of like a guideline, but not necessarily 100%. It's not going to be, you know, perfectly square or anything like that either. We do know that people are going to, you know, make what they can of the space that they can. So this gets us close to that, but we're going to start to make some changes, and you'll see what I mean in a second. So we're going to keep on doing what we're doing here. I want to continue to kind of like block off parts of this. Let's go to one of the smaller ones up here. All right, I feel like something like that gets the point across that I want to. And then what we'll do is we'll start to fill in some of the spots over here on the other side. Let's do a small one like that. Throw that in the mix. And we got this big guy. Turn that one so that we lose a little bit of this room. So the way that I'm envisioning it is we're going to have a little pathway that comes up this way and then turns, and we'll have a much smaller room over here. And then down here, probably another 4x5 or something like that. And that way, you know, a game master could say this is, you know, the work of, you know, underground dwarves, or it could be, you know, delvers, you know, drow, stuff like that. Or it could be, you know, like an ancient civilization decided to make something down here, and that's what we're working with. Let's see. So that gives us a narrower path. We'll try and keep things mostly at this angle and things like that. So let's build out over here. We're going to shrink the size of the brush down a little bit so it looks like, you know, that's been overtaken a little bit by age and stuff like that. So we'll start to build that out. Again, we're probably going to have to change certain things to better reflect, you know, where things have gone, but not bad so far. Let us go back to the stamps. We're going to build some of these out a little bit further. $69, nice. All right. And I think what we're going to do, since we're already working, well, you know, we'll mess with that in a second, because we know we're going to have to do a little bit of work over here. But I did notice that the stairs are a little bit overlapped by the cliff, and I feel like doing that disguises a little bit better. All right, so next up, let's do the same thing that we were doing. We're going to we'll grab. Oh, what am I grabbing? Way too big an area, I think. So that's what it was. I was painting with that for some reason. Let's do a 3x4. Change the size of it a little bit. We'll actually make it a 3x5 and change it a little bit further, and we'll make the path open up into there. That way we have a little bit more room. I want to try and stay away from the borders of the map, and we'll actually, we're not using, we'll do like 4.5, and that way it's not something that you can come up with too easily. Oh, I lost it. So we'll use the same style, you know, directions and everything like that, but it's going to be altered by the time we got all these pieces in there anyway. You're not going to really even realize that, you know, things look a little bit off here and there. I think this is turning out very, very nice. Certainly still some more stuff that we have to do here and there, but like I very much like, this is the first like hybrid indoor, well, I mean, it's not outdoor, but the first hybrid, you know, we'll call it wild outer map and interior map. This adds some pretty cool character to what you can work with. So we're going to cut things off a little bit, like right there, because again, I don't want to have things too close to the border of the map. Because we're going to end up losing some of that, most likely when we're working on like the mouse pads and stuff like that, the mouse pad versions of these maps. Let's see, can we use this little small guy to kind of close the gap over there? I feel like we can. So you'll notice in a couple of places where we've got gaps that need to close, and then we've got gaps that that we need to get rid of. Like down here, we've got that overflow. Let's go into color. We're just going to use black. So we'll get rid of that there. We'll go around, make sure that we've got a little bit of that going through. And then we got to lose this over here as well. So pretty cool, actually. I'm very pleased with what we've got going on so far. It's definitely different than the way that we usually do things. You know, I'm always all for trying to find new ways to explore what's possible in the stuff that we're playing with. So I think, like I said, we're going to do another either 4x5 or I don't want to go too big. So I think either a 4x5 or a 3x4. Brianna, what do you think? Should I keep it this size and we'll rotate it no matter what to be a little bit more this way? But what do you think? Should we do a 4x5 or a 3x4? So we'll do that. We're going to apply that here, but you'll notice right away the tiles aren't quite going to do what I want it to. So we're going to keep messing with the rotation until we get something that I like a little bit more. And I feel like that's actually really good. And let's do this brush to kind of connect these in there. I think what we can do to better reflect the change here is if we get a door that we can use, that they would use in like ancient times. So I don't want to use like the Gothic horror or anything. No temples or anything like that. We've got the dwarven beamless stone door actually might do the trick for us. So the idea is we're going to bring that down about here, and then when we have this stuff kind of filling in the gaps a little bit, it ought to help things pop a little bit more. Now we're going to bring this up. And let's fill some more of these out a little bit. Again, I don't want it to be a perfect square. We were just using that as like a guideline. Let's go to one of the bigger ones. I want it to be a little bit uneven. You know, they carved out some of this area, but the walls themselves aren't going to be a perfect square down here in the Everdark. So fill that one out a little bit more. And let's purposely lose this corner over here. Make it a little bit more rounded off. And again, I don't want to go too far off to the side. Usually when we're making our mousepad maps and stuff like that, we're losing content off the left side of the map. But just in case we decide like at the last minute, like, hey, I'm going to flip this 180 degrees or something like that, I'm going to try and keep things off of the one side. Let's go and do 3 because we haven't done that one a little bit. Okay. Again, filling that area in anywhere there's black on the inside of those walls. And then let's go into the color scheme again and then use the black on the outside to make sure that we don't have anything that's showing up there that shouldn't. So pretty darn good, to be perfectly honest. I'm very happy with what we have there. It again, it adds a little bit to the map. It gives us some focal points that we can play with in this map, and you know, it adds to some of the content that we have. All right, so let's come in here. We know that we're going to lose some of the stuff down here because we're going to continue to build out the exterior over here, but I don't want it to fold all the way into here and kind of break into that, so we're going to have this wall expand past the south side of the map. Let's do something like that. Build it back out, and then we'll slide it the other way. Oh, you know what? That's the same one twice. I don't like doing that. We're going to turn that one sideways so it kind of goes into that next map. That'll give us a little bit of kind of like an area to grab hold of. And it'll help us to synchronize when we're trying to build that out. All right, so we've got something like this now. Alrighty. So we lose, you know, a little bit of this right side of the map, but we gain some pretty cool like interior stuff that we can use over here. Brianna, do you think that I should kind of add a little bit of symmetry and add another door up here, or should we leave that open? Okay, then that is how we will leave it. Alrighty. So let's close this up over here, make sure that we don't have any of the dark spots there that we don't need. Now what we are going to do is we do want it to be that you have to go down these stairs to get across these cliffs. So let's grab some more of these. But you know what we might do is we might make it a little bit less precarious. So over here, we'll do just the 2. There we go. So you can see much steeper drops over here, a little bit less, a little bit less. And what we're going to do is go back to our tiles and we're going to mess with the rotation one more time. Because what we're trying to do here is have it in line with the stairs, and that's pretty close. Let's do that. Perfect. So here, so again, we have a little bit of like a sense of what the old world used to be. And we're going to cover that up with some more of this dust and grime because that's too apparent. We're going to dirty it up some more. I've got the glove, the Parvo glove on. Let's do some of this. It'll be easier. I can do a couple of like more natural brush strokes. So you can definitely see here that there is some stonework still under there. Let's actually do the same thing over here. We've got this kind of like terminating into this area in a less natural way than I would like, but that actually looks a lot nicer. It does become that that more colorful look, but let's do the same thing over here. Shouldn't just be immediately all pristine and everything. All right, 163. So about time that we make another save. Alrighty, let me think real quick. So I know for sure I want to do another, it kind of looks like a hammer. Anyway, you know what? The more and more I look at this, the more and more I hate it. Okay, let's go back to the color palette real quick. Oh, let's just go all the way to the full opacity. That looks a little nicer. It doesn't look, you know, squared off in a strange way. So let's do some more corruption next. So we'll go back to the texture. We know that we're going to use, I think, that there. Let's see. We're going to get rid of this. I'm just testing out where we're looking at things. So let's do a little bit in there. We can even have it feeding off the bottom there. So you'll notice we used the kind of like amorphous color that we had, or the amorphous sharp edge tool, and I didn't like how pristine those edges looked. So we did a little bit of that to make it look like it fades into place in certain spots. Now I think over here, no, it doesn't look like we have a lot of those green spots anymore, but that's perfectly fine. Let's grab a couple more of these here and there. We do have a green spot down there, so we'll put that there. Grab a cluster over here and turn it when we get over to here. Do something like that. Let's grab a big cluster here. And we'll get one more big cluster here and then turn it. Perfect. All right, only 21 changes that time, but definitely want to make use of that. And the next step that we're going to do actually is we've got these guys down here. I think, I don't know if it's going to do what I want it to. I feel like it could. So let's try and mess with the hue of this one. There we go. Perfect. So the idea here is that these ones are growing out of the stonework. And we'll even have, you know what, I'm going to change things up in there. So in here, we're going to change the hue to a green one. And the reason for that is we'll put like some cool stuff in here that the players can find. But the danger is that these things are toxic. So like we'll put like treasure chests or crates or something in here. And these things are a little bit more sapient than the ones you see in the other areas. I don't like how far that one comes out, but that one's good. All right, that's fun. Let's grab a couple more of these ones. We'll throw them up there. sticking out a little too far, so I'll try and tuck them in a bit more without getting them to come out the other side. And then last but not least, we're going to put some over here too. And then I still have to work on lighting them up. So let's grab the blue light that we have. We'll mess with the hue until we got a nice purple. Brings it to life just a little bit more. And then for the green ones in here, let's do this a little bit differently. We're actually going to change the opacity so it's more subtle. But I want it to look larger and hazier. Perfect. Again, adds a little bit of character to the map. I think what we'll probably do is we'll use that as a nice little stopping point. We did a decent amount in a short amount of time. Again, very happy with what we did so far. We're going to fill in a little bit of that like storage area on the right side. We'll figure out something else to do in the center of the map to kind of bring it to life a little bit more. Very likely another couple of splotches of the corruption. Maybe we'll put something over here, and then maybe something either down here or down here, and then we'll have a nice basis for where this place can start, and we'll be able to go in a couple of different directions with it, literally and figuratively. So yeah, that's a good place to stop. So again, we're going to talk. Ooh, not that. We're going to talk about the couple of the places that you can find us, including Tellest.com, which is where we started the stream twice, technically, because we had the technical difficulties the first time. But Tellest.com is a great place to start if you want to get on the Tellest newsletter. We do basically a weekly newsletter. I am starting to work my way towards doing a workflow automation where there would be 2 a week. It would be, the day that you start, you'd get something that starts you on that automation, and then usually every Thursday is when I have my other one go live. So the workflow would help you to find out, which books are, next in line for you to read and things like that. At this point, the back catalog is pretty big, so it helps to have that kind of like through line to everything. If you want to see these maps after we're done with them, and you want to have the high-res versions, the variants, things like that, you can get them on patreon.com/Tellest. You can also find our sticker club and our poster club there if that kind of thing intrigues you. If you want to see these maps even well after they're gone, and Twitch has kicked them off the channel because they're only allowed to be on for so long, you can find them at youtube.com/@worldoftellest. If you want to see these live, though, you can't see them on YouTube that way. You have to go here to twitch.tv/thattellestguy. If you want to see our mouse pads after we put these battle maps together on them, you can go to tellest.etsy.com. We also have other mouse pads, gorgeous art that we've amassed over the years. And then we've got the Weird Witch Wands that's on there. We've got posters. We've got stickers. Just a lot of cool stuff. There's 2 TikToks that you should be following. One is Tales of Tellest. That is TAILS of Tellest. That's where you can see our dogs. Luna is an absolute nut, and if you want to hear a dog talking more than they possibly should, that's a great place to do it. And we mentioned Weird Witch Wands earlier for the Etsy store, but you can also see Rihanna films a lot of the stuff when she's revealing her wands, and that's a great place to find that. That's Weird Witch Wands, WYRDWITCH wands.com. Excuse me. Well, it is .com, but also on TikTok you can find it that way. So a lot of rambling at the back end of this this video, and I apologize for that. But we're going to wrap things up for now. I'll be back tomorrow, most likely, to finish this map up and then maybe start work on our witch's hut. So thank you again for joining me, and we'll see you next time. I'll miss you.